Hi, Phyllis here from southernfrugal.com. This morning I'm going to fix my fruitcake. It's going to be an old-fashioned rum fruitcake. And here are the ingredients. You will need, for the fruit, 3 cups of chopped nuts. Now, I use a combination of pecans and walnuts. 4 ounces of diced candied orange peel, 8 ounces of candied pineapple, and I snipped that up with my scissors, 8 ounces of candied green cherries, I snipped those up with my scissors, and then every once in a while I just leave one whole, because when you're eating it and somebody comes across a whole cherry, oh, they think they really found something. So I leave maybe a third of them whole. And you'll also need 16 ounces of red candied cherries, 8 ounces of chopped dates, and 2 tablespoons of candied ginger. And that's what it looks like. And I snipped this up with my scissors also, so we just mix that in. 2 1/4 cups of sifted all-purpose flour. Now be sure and sift this before you measure it. Again, that's 2 1/4 cups. What we're going to do, let me turn this camera around. I'm just going to dump that right into all of my fruit and nuts. And then with my hands, I'm just going to mix it all up. We want every single piece of the fruit and nuts all coated with the flour. And that way it will be evenly distributed through throughout the cake. So just keep mixing it with your hand. See how they're all getting coated? Now in the batter, there will be no other flour other than this flour. All right, that should do it. All right, we're going to set this aside now. And in another bowl, let me get a rag. And let me put this back so you can see. Okay. All right. That ought to do it. All right. We'll need 1 1/2 cups of softened butter. Now, this is how I soften my butter. I mean, you have to remember to take it out of the refrigerator, right? And I never remember that. So I just put the sticks in a bowl, put it in the microwave, and for 3 sticks it takes about 1 3/4 minutes, and it will soften it. Now, you don't want it melted, just soften. So when you put it in the microwave, just put it on defrost. All right. I'm going to dump that into the bowl. Now we're going to need 1 1/2 cups of just regular sugar. Not brown sugar now, just regular sugar. So there's 1 cup. And 1/2 cup. All right. Now we're going to need 1 1/2 teaspoons of nutmeg. So there's 1 teaspoon. There's a 1/2 teaspoon. Now, I always have to mash that up because it gets lumps in it. And put that in. Now, this is not in the recipe, and I'm going to show you the recipe later, but I just go ahead and add this. This is called Chinese 5 spices, and I think they call that 5 happiness or something like that. But anyway, this is what it's got in it. Cinnamon, fennel, licorice root, anise, ginger, chili pepper, allspice, and cloves. Now I'm just going to use a 1/2 teaspoon of that. And by the way, it smells very, very good. I'll put that in. Again, this is not in the recipe, so we'll just call this my little secret ingredient. Okay, next we're going to put in 1.5 teaspoons of vanilla extract. Now, you want to make sure you use the extract and not imitation, because it just doesn't taste as good in any kind of cake or anything baked. So that's 1.5 teaspoons. Okay. Now, I'm going to put in a little salt, and I'm really not measuring this. I'm just going to put a little bit in, maybe 1/2 teaspoon. That would be to your taste. Now I'm going to just mix this up just a little bit. And of course it smells absolutely divine. Now this is the batter, and this will be what you will dump over your fruit and mix it all up by hand. 1/2 cup of dark Karo syrup. You can use molasses, which I don't care for because it adds too much taste, but you could also use honey. Either would work. Put that in. And now I'm going to add 6 eggs. Now I'm putting all these in at one time because I'm going to use my electric mixer. Again, try to break them on the side of the bowl, which is this plastic so it doesn't work very well, or on a flat surface. And again, you just put them all in at one time. And these are large eggs. 6 of them. All right. Now we're going to put the electric mixer in here, just a hand electric mixer, and get this all mixed up. First I'm going to do a little bit by hand. Now, here's something that will make the mixing a lot easier. I'm going to go ahead and put in my rum. Now, we had to buy a large bottle of this because they were sold out of the smaller bottles, but it's going to take 1 cup of the light Bacardi rum. Now, if you don't want to use an alcoholic beverage in your fruitcake, you can use apple cider, you could use wine, or you could use a fruit juice, but the taste is not going to be the same because the rum has a very distinct taste. So let me make sure I got a cup. Okay, we'll put all that in. Now I'm going to mix this around by hand until I get it sort of mixed in a little bit, because I don't want it slinging up everywhere when I put the electric mixer in it. So I'll start it out on low. Okay, when I get this batter all mixed up, we'll be back. Alright, I have completed mixing my batter, and here's what it looks like. Now it's going to be pretty runny, okay, but remember the flour's not in here. The flour's all in the fruit. So now I'm going to dump this into the fruit, a nut mixture. Now I'm just going to mix that up. You might have to use your hands again. Excuse me. Alright. I'm going to mix that all up, and then I'm going to dump it into a lined and greased tube pan. Now I've got a video on how to line a tube pan because the sides, you know, flare out. It makes it kind of hard unless you know how to roll the thing, the pan on the paper and cut it out that way. Now in this particular case, I've also lined the little flute here because I want to make absolutely sure this comes out. So anyway, there it is, a lined and grease. Now you grease the pan first, then put the lining in it, then grease the lining also. Now on the fruit, I kept out a few of the red cherries, green cherries, and some of the pineapple also, and the little orange, candied orange segments, because I want to make a little decoration on the top of it. So we'll be back when I'm going to dump this in the 2 panises to get it all mixed up, and we're going to bake it for 2 to 2.5 hours at 250 degrees, and we'll be back then. All right, our cake has completed cooking. Now I did have to cook it for 2.5 hours, so depending on your oven, you might even have to cook it longer. But anyway, it's completely cool now, and we're going to go ahead and dump it out in the plate. It's very heavy. Very, very heavy. All right, there it is. Pull that paper off now. My other parchment paper, see, it stayed in the pan, which is great. All right, we're ready to decorate it now. Smells great. All right, I'm going to make some little flowers on the top of it with these little cherries, and I'm going to put 3. I'm going to make 4 little petals for each one. Put a little piece of pineapple in the middle. I'm just cutting the cherries in 2. Let that be my little petals. Didn't turn out quite so good. Alright, now I'm going to make some little leaves using the little green cherry. Make a little stem. And a little leaf. Okay, this cake is very buttery, and really what happens is the alcohol in the rum, of course, just evaporates. Now, in order to age this and keep it very moist, which of course not being moist is one of the biggest complaints against fruitcakes. This is probably half a cup of rum right here, and I'm just going to spin it over the top. And it's best to age the cake for really at least a week, and preferably 2 weeks. And I usually let mine age for about 2 weeks. And so what you can do is every couple of days, just take it back out of the refrigerator and put just a little more rum on it. And again, the alcohol in the rum evaporates, but it does give you that great spicy rum taste. All that will soak right in. I think the biggest complaint people have with fruitcakes is they're dry. Certainly the kind you buy in the store are very dry, but this one's not going to be dry at all. Okay, there it is. And I'm going to store it in just a plastic covered cake holder, and I'll put it in the bottom of the refrigerator. Now, if you've got a cool place to put it, you can, it doesn't have to be refrigerated, so you could, put it in a cool room would be fine. So let me put this on the stand here. There. I think you can see that better now. Move it over. There you go. All right, that's an old-fashioned rum fruitcake. And we will see you next time. Now I am going to show you the recipe. Let me just do that now. There you go. Old-fashioned rum fruitcake. You can just put your computer on pause to read that. Now, the only thing that might be a little different is the cooking time. You want to cook it until a toothpick inserted in the top of it, as far down as it'll go, comes out clean. In my case, it was 2.5 hours. Your oven might be, I don't know, a little faster, a little slower than mine. I think 3 hours is the most you would ever want to cook it. So anyway, there it is. Rum fruitcake. I think you'll find it quite delicious. See you next time.